Hello everyone, my name is Sakshi Pawar. I am student of Design Institute from batch 22. So today's topic for daily task video is the integumentary system. So the skin is skin is extraordinary organ system. It protects the internal structures of the body from damage and prevents dehydration. It also stores fats and produces vitamins and hormones which help to maintain homeostasis within the body by assisting with the regulation of the body temperature and water balance. It is the body's first line of defense against bacteria, viruses and other pathogens. It helps to provide protection from harmful ultraviolet radiations. The skin is a sensory organ with receptors for detecting heat and cold, touch, pressure and pain. The internal secretion of sebum from the millions of sebaceous glands, each associated with the hair follicle, is slightly oily and furnishes the skin with the partially water repellent and antibiotic qualities. So together hair, skin and nails are known as the integumentary system, and the skin is the largest organ in the body, weighing 6 to 9 pounds and with a surface area of almost 21 square feet. Its thickness varies from about 1/50 inch on the delicate areas such as the eyelids to 1/5 inch or more on the areas of wear and tears such as the soles of the feet. Few body parts renew as rapidly as the skin. Every month, the outer layer of epidermis is completely replaced at a rate of 30,000 flat like dead cells every minute. The journey from the epidermal base to the surface takes about 4 weeks, and a typical person sheds more than 1 pound of the skin every year. So the dead skin cells combine with the other particles to create household dust, and the average home in the United States collect 40 pounds of dust each year. Skin has two main structural layers. The outer epidermis is chiefly protective, and underlying dermis contains many different tissues with varied functions. And the dermis contains thousands of microsensors that enables the sense of a touch, as well as sweat glands and adjustable blood vessels that contribute to body temperature regulations. Under the dermis is a layer sometimes regarded as a part of the skin called as a hypodermis, and it is made up of subcutaneous fat. This layer acts as a buffer and provide extra thermal insulation against extreme heat and cold. So the next part is dermatomes. A dermatome is a region or zone of a skin which is supplied by the dorsal nerve and root of one pair of a spinal nerve. And so the nerve branches carry sensory information about touch, pressure, heat, cold and pain from the skin microsensors with the zone, and along with the sensory fibers of the branches of the spinal nerve to the spinal nerve root, and then into the spinal cord. So skin map delineates the skin zones or dermatomes. In real life, the distribution of nerve roots and so of the sensations overlap slightly. So the next point is how a skin injury gets repaired by the body. So the wounds break open cells and releases their contents. These components attract various defense and repair cells. The next step is clotting. So the blood seeps from the vessels and from a fibroblast multiply and migrate to the damaged area as do white cells called neutrophils, which ingest cell debris and foreign matter such as dirt and germs. So plugging fibroblast produces a plug of fibers tissue of a fibrous tissue within the clot, which contracts and shrinks. New tissue begin to form beneath. The clot gradually hardens and expels fluid to become a scab. As these tissues heal beneath, the next step is the scabbing. The plug hardens and dries to scab, which eventually detaches. A scar may remain but usually fades with the time. And the ultraviolet defenses, the sun's rays include a spectrum of a color wavelength, including the infrared or IR rays, the warming component, and ultraviolet UV rays. Both UVA and UVB wavelengths are visible to human eyes, but exposure to the latter in particular is linked to form a skin cancer. This forms a screen in the upper epidermis that shields the actively multiplying cells in the base of the epidermis. So the next point is the melanin production. The melanocytes are melanin producing cells in the base of the epidermis, and they make parcels of melanin granules. The melanosomes which pass into the surrounding cells. So the next point is getting vitamin D from the sunlight and foods. Our skin naturally contains a precursor to vitamin D. When the sun's ultraviolet rays touch the skin, they convert into the precursor to a molecule called as vitamin D3, which then follows a metabolic pathway through the liver and finally to the kidney, where it's converted into a molecule called as calcitrol. That's the good stuff, the active form, which vitamin D obtained from the food or supplements must also follow that metabolic pathway to become active. So the vitamin D is essential to healthy bones because it helps you absorb calcium, which strengthens your skeleton. Then without the vitamin, you could develop brittle bones, increasing the chance of getting osteoporosis when you are getting older. And the children with insufficient vitamin D can develop soft bones, putting them at risk of rickets. And inadequate amount of vitamin D also lead to a weakened hair growth. Hairs are rods of a dead, flattened cells filled with the keratin and have a mainly protective roles. The hair's root or a bulb is buried in a pit, the follicle. As extra cells add to the root, the hair lengths from its base. Different kinds of hairs grow at varying rates, with the scalp hair lengthening about 100 inch each day. However, hair does not grow continuously. After 3 to 4 years, the follicle goes into the rest phase and the hair may detach its base. So the 3 to 6 months later, the follicle activates again and begin to produce a new hair. So the rest phase, the hair grows to its maximum length. Activity in the follicle stops and the hair dies. So the temperature regulation is one of the skin's function to contribute to the thermoregulation, maintenance of a constant body temperature. It does these three main ways. The first one way is widening and narrowing of blood vessels. The second one is sweating, and the third one is the hair adjustment. If the body becomes hot, blood vessels in the dermis widen or a vasodilate to allow extra blood flow, so more warmth can be lost from the surface. The skin may look flushed, and sweat oozes from the sweat glands and evaporate, drying away from the heat. So if the body is cold, the peripheral blood vessels narrow to minimize the